I've worn the same outfit in like every 2 videos for the past week or so. I always end up pre-filming only because I think this way my videos go up faster. But for today, I will be doing my 2014 anticipated novels. And I didn't know how I was going to do this. Props to like all the booktubers who actually do this, because I don't understand how you guys sift through all the books that are going to be released this year and decide which ones you really like best. Like, I think that Bookables, yes, Heather from the Bookables does a great job in these videos. I absolutely love watching her video whenever she does these anticipated novels, just because she has this really good method to it and she knows what she's talking about. She's done proper research. But for today I'm just going to skim through, standalones that I think I would love to read, and the sequels to series that I've started and series that I think I want to start or that are being released this year. And they're probably not, there's probably like a whole, like, larger part, like there's probably a lot more than what I have here, but I've just condensed it a little so my video doesn't go too long, and because I was just going nuts looking at all the books that were going to be released this year. If you would love to watch Heather's video, because I think it's really good, you could always click here, or I will leave a link down below. But let's get to it. So starting with series that I've already started and which the sequels are going to be coming out this year. First up, and I think we all know what it is City of Heavenly Fire by Cassandra Clare, and it is the 6th and final book of the Mortal Instruments series. This is definitely going to be a big release, and I don't even know why I'm reading it, only because I lost interest in the novel, or in the series, ever since the 5th one, but I'm still going to finish this series just because of how much love I harbour for it from book 1 to 3 basically. So that is that. And then I have the Retribution of Mara Dyer, which is book 3 in the Mara Diary series. I haven't read book 2, but I absolutely loved book 1, so I know that I will be finishing this series, and that means that I can read book 2 and 3 as soon as book 3 comes out. And then I come down to book 2 of the Bone Season series by Samantha Shannon, and it doesn't have a title yet and it doesn't have a cover yet, so I don't know what to call it besides Bone Season number 2. If you haven't watched already my review about the Bone Season, then you can click here and the description will be in the link below as well. But it was good enough for me to be interested in it, to keep reading, so I will definitely be checking out the sequel to that. And lastly on my list I have The Last Rose by Philippa Gregory, and it is the last book in her The Cousin Wars series, and this time it follows the famous figure in history, Margaret Pole. And I think it's just going to be a really good end. Oh, I hope it's going to be a really good ending to an amazing series. I absolutely love my historical fiction, and this got me into a lot more than just the Tudor period. So I wanted to put down all these other novels, like, the ones like the Angel Fall, like Penryn series, the Under the Never Sky 3rd book and stuff, but because I haven't read like that one, or haven't read the 2nd book of those, I don't know if I want to read like the last novel already or whatever, so I felt that it wasn't fair to put them in anyways. Series that I want to start this year though, I have quite a few. They're mixed, I guess. They're different, mostly fantasy. And the first one is Dorothy Must Die, and this is the first book in Dorothy Must Die series by Danielle Page, and it's essentially about how this girl gets swept in a tornado or cyclone, and she ends up going to the land of Oz, and her mission is to take the Tin Man's heart, take the Scarecrow's brain, I think, take away like the lion's courage and yada yada, and then kill Dorothy. Doesn't that sound crazy already? It's taking such a classic story and then twisting it into a way that I think is going to be absolutely amazing. Then I have The Winner's Curse, which is the first book in the Winner series by Marie Rudkoki, I think, Rudkoki. This is about this girl who ends up buying this boy, and I think it's like for a slave or something like that, and she ends up realizing that she likes him and that there are a lot more secrets to what is actually going on in her society, whatever. It sounds good. It sounds like something I feel like I would be interested in reading. Next up is The Young Elite, book number 1 in the Young Elite series by Marie Lu. And if you don't know, Marie Lu wrote the Prodigy series, and I think everybody loved that. Wait, no, not the Legend series, my bad. And this is essentially about like a group of, I think it's a group of elite people who everyone treats them as gods and stuff like that, but it doesn't turn out to be that way. It's a dystopian novel as well, and I think that's probably one of the dystopian series I want to start this year, just to continue on with my dystopian love. And the next book is Fates, which is the first book in the series Fates by Lane Bross. And what I looked at when I looked at Goodreads, there were really mixed reviews about this, even though it's going to be released in this year. I think people have already read parts of it. I for one think it's quite interesting. It's about how this girl gets condemned. She has to go to Earth and, you know, figure out people's fates for them, help them get there. And one day she has to kill this guy. She ends up having to kill this guy because it's his fate, but she can't because there are feelings involved, yada yada yada. So, you know, sounds like a good romance and fantasy novel. And that is all the series that I hopefully we'll try to start during this year, you know, series that I think will be great to read. With the standalones, I have quite a few. My standalones, I have What I Thought Was True by Huntley Fitzpatrick. It's a contemporary romance novel, and I probably should have done my research a lot better. It follows this girl named Gwen and this boy named Cassidy, and the polar opposites. Gwen is poor, she comes from a family that, you know, does fishing for a living, I think, and Cassidy is the rich boy, and they end up falling in love, and it's a really like romantic summer. Something I think is pretty cheesy, but I want to read it at the same time. It's hard to explain, I guess. Next up is Pieces of Me by Amber Kizza. This is actually bizarre. It's about this girl who ends up dying, and her parents think, you know, she would love to have, like, because she's dead, like, her parents think that she would have agreed to have her organs donated, but she isn't. And in this place that she is, she gets really angry because she's dead and because she's being disemboweled, and so like the people who receive these pieces of her end up getting more than what they bargained for. So they're getting her memories, they're getting her thoughts, her ideas, and it just sounds like a really bizarre novel that I think will make for a really good read. Next is The Geography of You and Me by Jennifer E. Smith, and this is a contemporary novel as well. It's a romance-based novel about... Oh, I remember this one. It's about this boy and a girl who end up falling in love, but in the end they have to move. So the girl moves to live with her mum and the boy moves away somewhere, but they continue this long distance relationship via postcards, emails, and then one day they have a reunion. And it sounds like a really sweet novel, something like Eleanor Park, I guess, and I liked that, you know, you gotta have the fuel sometimes when you read. So yeah. The next one is Love Letters to the Dead by Ava Delaira. And this is essentially about a girl she has to do an English project, and in the English project it's writing letters to a dead person, and she ends up writing a letter to this boy who her sister liked, but the boy died really young age, so did her sister, and suddenly she ends up writing all these letters to other dead people, and you get her story unravels, you know, her childhood, how her sister died, how they grew up together, which I think is pretty interesting. It's not something that I think it's not one of the most exciting novels that I'm waiting for during this year, but at the same time it's a really interesting concept. So I'm going to be looking out for that one as well. And then I have Sharon Biggs Weller, A Mad We Could Foley, and this one I think is going to be a great comedy novel. I don't know if it's supposed to be a comedy, but when I read the synopsis it was hilarious. The main character ends up posing nude for a art club or something like that, like a drawing club, and then she gets expelled from her school, and her parents tried to hook her up with one of the richest guys in the country, in the social club, but she doesn't like it, and then she ends up falling for this other guy, and I think it's just gonna be great. Like, come on, a female putting herself out there, like, yeah. Next is Dear Killer by Catherine Yule, I think, and this is about a girl who is an assassin, so she gets letters sent to her mailbox every day, and it starts with Dear Killer and what she has to do, and she doesn't really have any moral thoughts about it. She thinks she's doing the right thing. Or there's rules to follow, so there's no rights, no wrongs. She's just doing her job. But one day she gets a letter, and I think it changes the way she thinks about what she's doing. And like and apparently it's pitched as a psychological thriller, which is something I am really interested in reading. And then there is The Glass Casket by McCormick Templeman, and the main character's mum dies, and she's never had death visit her after that until one day when a group of men and their horses go into the woods, and their bodies end up being found, and then suddenly everyone's freaking out because they don't know what's in the woods, whether it's a beast or like a human. But her life changes because death is once again coming by, and I think she has to grasp the concept of that. It just sounds like a really good thriller novel as well. And then we have The Fortune Hunter by Daisy Goodwin, and this one is about a female. I think she has a lot of power, in like a status power, but she's getting bored of her husband. She doesn't like her life, so she ends up going to England on the hunt for an exciting adventure. My parents are home, and she ends up meeting this guy who's like engaged to one of the richest girls in society, but they have this passion about themselves, and they really feel drawn to each other, and it's a matter of what's right, what's wrong, is this affair going to last, is their life going to be ruined. And I think it's just going to be a really good adult novel to read. 3 more novels, guys, bear with me. And then we have this Serena by Janelle Patrick and Jackson Pierce. It's essentially a Russian modern day fairy tale, something that I've been really into these days, so I am really looking forward to reading this one. I have quite a lot of romance novels or contemporary novels on this one, and the next one is Searching for Beautiful by Naira Dawn, and this one is about a girl named Bryn who loses everything, her best friend, her boyfriend, the group of friends that she has in high school, and she feels really depressed, yada yada yada, and then she meets this boy named Christian who lives next door, and he plays the guitar. I was sold from that point on because he plays the guitar. That's basically it. I just hope I fall in love with Christian. Yeah, my reasons aren't very logical, are they? And lastly, I have Pointe, P-O-I-N-T, by Brandy Colbert, and I was looking at my Goodreads TBR list and I found this on there. And this one's more of a psychological thriller as well, about this girl named Theo who is getting her life back together until her best friend comes home, and then she starts remembering about the moments that she was abducted, what happened during that, and she starts to freak out a little again. I don't know, and I think they try to figure out what happens during it. Like, she doesn't want to think about it, but at the same time, like, I think they need to tell people or something like that, and it sounds kind of scary. So that's all for my 2014 anticipated novels. Please do share some more in the comments below, because I know that I'm going to be reading a lot more than what I have listed there. Hope you guys have a great day. See you later.